kind of been off the grid for a sec. Hasn't been the greatest mobility weekend I've ever had. Kind of hard to stand or stand up straight. That's okay. That doesn't mean I was just sitting around doing nothing. Still waiting for my garden to get plowed. May have to throw away all my potato sets. But that's okay. Potatoes are cheap. May hear some banging and sawing and things. Because Papa is just right at the side of the house. Tearing off some bad parts of the house. He's really good at tearing off. He's not very good at putting back on. But whatever. So there's lots I wanted to talk to you about. So first thing, if you remember from yesterday, the fruit leather. Okay, so the instructions I had was for a dehydrator. And these people just must have a way hotter dehydrator than I do. Because after over 24 hours, it still wasn't done. So I turned my oven on to about 180. Cooked it for, I'm gonna guess, another good 12 or more. And finally, it got dry enough that it would peel off the parchment. There it is. I keep it little. Got it in a jar. And I got it wrapped in my little parchment papers. But it's really good. I've got gum in my mouth right now. Excuse me for a sec. Alright. But, and see, like, there's parchment paper stuck to that piece. And it's like, so even still, it could have been cooked longer. But, pretty tasty. Definitely healthier for the kids than that crap we buy for them. And this is, I had made some jelly. And it was apple, strawberry, cranberry. And I mean, it literally was basically fruits I had left from other batches. And I was just like, It was really tart. I mean, it was hard to eat. And one of the things you can do, this stuff's really chewy. With last year's, if you got a bunch of jelly left over from last year, obviously you can keep it, or you can make fruit leather with it, and see if the kids will eat up. And it's a lot sweeter since it's more condensed into this fruit leather form. Lots sweeter. I just kind of wrapped. Here, I'll show you more of how I did that. I used my jerky gun, which was tricky, being this was really thin jelly. It was almost just a really thick syrup that I drew. But I've just got them wrapped in parchment, so it won't stick. It'll be ready for my kiddos when they come tomorrow. They probably won't all like them, but whatever. I don't care if they don't like them. I like them. So, yeah. I got paper in my mouth. Okay, so anyway, I've got this was 3 trays. I've still got 2 trays in the oven. So, yeah, next time though I do it, I'm just going to do it flat in the oven. I'm just going to line a cookie sheet with the parchment paper and bump it out onto it and just cook it in the oven. Because the dehydrator isn't good for this application, in my opinion. So, there's lots of neat recipes out there, though. Check them out. You should make some. It's healthy for the kids. Healthy for you. And on we move. Okay, so next thing I want to talk to you about was the farmhouse dishcloths. After at least 2 weeks of studying various patterns and designs and things of that nature, I landed on 2 patterns. So this weekend, and actually I started last week on the one, I made 2, one of each pattern. Now the first one is this one. I'm going to try, it may be better that I just move the camera. And I hope, there we go. Here, let's just do this. And I don't know if you can tell, but there is a weaved in raised ridge on this. It's little squares. And the back of it is a series of, sorry, this is quite tricky, of, there's like 2 ridges, it's in, and then 2 ridges. So it's kind of ridgy on both sides. This pattern definitely worked up super quick. I have no doubt how much I could get out of the particular skein of cotton that I bought. This is a looser weaved dishcloth. But anyway, this is one of the patterns. I really wish I could there maybe you can see them that way. Anyway, the other one that I landed on is done in a Tunisian crochet, and let me see if it'll focus. I don't know whether the camera will focus this close, because I'm on my little cheapy PC camera. It's kind of nubbly on this side, and it's got a nice flat weave on this side, simple edging, a lot longer to make. I mean, it's not just it's not like a hard stitch, but it is a more complicated stitch, and so I wouldn't get them done as fast. But anyway, let me move this camera back. But anyway, what I'm going to do is use them for a week. I'm going to use them this week, because know that everything I sell you, including my soap, I don't even send you a sample of my soap unless I've used it for a week. So let me use these for a week and see how they do, and then I'll decide which one I'm going to sell, and maybe I'll sell both. Maybe I'll only sell one or the other. But that's the plan on that. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was my transition into using all natural hygiene products. So far, it's been pretty good. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you about was deodorant. I love this more than anything I've ever bought at the store. Ever. This is equal parts coconut oil and baking soda. And then whatever scent you want. I chose lavender. I liked it. So, and you put, literally, I use about that much. And look, it's melting down my finger because of the coconut oil, and I'm just going to put some right now. And what's awesome is I literally can just go like this, and it softens my hands and smells good. But anyway, equal parts. So this one happens to be, I think I've got like a third a cup coconut oil, baking soda. We all know baking soda, okay? We put baking soda in the fridge, in the freezer, in our shoes. It gets rid of odor, okay? Now, antiperspirant, I'm not a huge sweater, so having an antiperspirant isn't important to me. However, You can easily add cornstarch to this mixture, and knowing what I do about what cornstarch does to something by my foundation, which I'll talk to you about in a minute, that would most certainly keep you pretty dry most of the day. This performance-wise, about 12 hours. About 12 hours. And you know, depending. But yeah, about 12 hours. And it's easily reapplied. Smells wonderful. Love it. Literally 3 ingredients: coconut oil, baking soda, and whatever scent you choose. You could choose no scent. That's fine. So that was one of the things I want to talk to you about that I was pretty excited about. Okay, so back. We'll pick up this. My foundation. Love this too. Finally am getting closer and closer to my, and I had to, and you can see this, it is just so creamy and so whippy. And I'll just, now what this is cocoa butter, coconut oil, some cornstarch, and cocoa powder. That's what this is. And I wish I could give you measurements, but I can't. I don't know if you can see. I can tell the difference. I can feel the difference. I mean, it's like velvet. I basically start with the cocoa butter and the cocoa powder, and I got it to the shade I wanted. Okay? Then I added cornstarch. Then I added a little bit of coconut oil, because originally, as I was playing with this, I stopped when I added the cornstarch. I stopped, and what I found out is it was drying my face out. Way too dry. Way too dry. So if you've got an oily complexion, you know, add more cornstarch to your formula. You're going to have to play with it. It took me a good couple weeks of playing with ingredients. Then, because it was so, you know, it really dried me out, I added some coconut oil. Then, what I found was the coconut oil was separating from everything else all the time, expectedly so. So I took the emulsion blender and just whipped it up. And that's what I use. And you know, you can put a couple of coats on it. Now, here's the thing, it's not full coverage. Not full coverage. So, you know, but it is my opinion that once I started using natural products on my skin tone got more even. Now, upon occasion, depending on my health, I'll get maybe red or blotchy or something like that. But you know what, to be perfectly honest, it's probably going to show through your makeup at the end of the day anyway. And you know, that's one of the things that made me realize, you know, just because I leave the house in the morning with what I think is perfect makeup, by lunch, it's half gone. So by the end of the day, nobody is seeing you with makeup on anyway, unless you're one of those people that goes and reapplies your makeup every 3 hours, which I am a nut. So my thought process is, okay, I'm getting older. I need to start taking care of my face, my skin. It's drier. Moisture. The best thing for wrinkles is moisture. Plump skin, no wrinkles. So all these wrinkle things and all these things, you know, that are $30 a bottle, all they're doing is putting moisture in your skin and plumping it temporarily. Where you can use all natural products far cheaper and make them yourself. Just does the same thing. So anyway, that's my foundation. Or my, yeah, I guess I call it foundation. Because I've been doing this for months. This is my blush. In fact, I kind of need to refill. It is just cocoa powder. Now, this is what matches my skin tone. You can use, there's lots of arrowroot powder. There's hibiscus powder. I think that's kind of pinkish colored. Grow you some hibiscus and then grind their flowers into powder. That is what hibiscus powder is. You can make it, go right. You know what? Have you ever heard of a Rose of Sharon? Rose of Sharon, but short, and how I was taught to say it was Rose of Sharon. I think there's a couple more names for it as well. They grow everywhere. They are a hibiscus. And I know I plan this summer when they start blooming to go pick blooms and dry them and powder them and see what I can get for powder colorant, makeup, my soaps, various things. So that's a plan. This is what I've been tentatively using as a face powder. Haven't been overjoyed. This is rice powder. I'm sorry, no, rice flour, which is where the issue is, I think. It's gritty. It's not powder. I mean, if that makes any sense. There's a grit to it. It's great. I love how it feels, but I'm brushing the grit off. So, gonna play some more around with that. Now, I know that on Amazon you can buy rice powder, but I want to see how I can create that myself. Maybe with the rice powder, maybe with just some white rice in my grinder, maybe. I don't know. Gonna play with that some more though. So that's still on the table, but that's where I am with that. Okay, last but not least, toothpaste. Been doing this for a couple weeks as well. And this one, I'm getting kind of empty, but you can see how I get it on my brush. Rub it across the side. See if I can get it in there for you. This is my toothpaste. I have a recipe for this toothpaste, and I can post it, or at least a link to it at the with this video. But essentially, it is baking soda, coconut oil, Himalayan pink salt, and either peppermint extract or peppermint flavoring. I chose peppermint extract, of course, because that's something that's sustainable to me, and, you know, it's natural. And surprisingly, here, in following the exact recipe, which, let me just see if I can find it. Oh, let's see. Oh, I only walk like I'm 152. Not 52. Well, it's not in this book like I thought it was. But anyway, I will post either, like I said, the recipe or a link to the recipe with this video, because I obviously don't have it in my Nana book. Yeah, here it is. Got it. Okay, so the recipe is this: 1/2 a cup organic extra virgin unrefined coconut oil, Mine was organic unrefined coconut oil. 1 tablespoon of Himalayan pink salt. 1 tablespoon of calcium carbonate, which I did not add, but I'll tell you what that is. 1/2 cup baking soda. So again, just like the deodorant, you're equal parts coconut oil, equal parts baking soda. 1/2 teaspoon organic liquid stevia, and 1 tablespoon organic peppermint flavor. So, and I didn't use the stevia either. Here is what I found. The salt. It was way too salty. I mean, I've been using this, and I will continue to use it. Actually, I'll probably just add the new batch to this one. I don't know if it's just because, and I have gotten used to it a little bit over the last couple of weeks. I don't know if it's just because I'm not used to my toothpaste being salty. But it was too salty for me. So, I personally, in future batches, I'm going to just use a teaspoon instead of a tablespoon like the recipe says. Calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is powdered eggshells. I mean, you can buy calcium carbonate. But you can also just put your eggshells in your coffee grinder or just in your little bowl and, was it pestle, and make yourself some powdered eggshells. I didn't worry about it. I didn't, whatever. Don't care. It didn't matter. Baking soda, we all know, is a natural toothpaste. That's what doctors tell you to use. I mean, and our fancy toothpaste comes with baking soda in it. I ended up, like I said, using the peppermint extract because I wanted it to be something sustainable to me. I grow peppermint, and I wanted it to be more natural. But, you know, you can use anything. Cinnamon, you can use vanilla, you can use nothing, whatever. But here's what I found. My teeth stay cleaner much longer through the day. Before, when I was brushing my teeth with regular store-bought toothpaste, I mean by lunch anyway, with you know, 2 cups of coffee, you know, whatever, maybe I had a snack, who knows what I did between waking up and lunch. I mean, here and sometimes in here, I was already feeling like I needed to freaking brush my teeth. And not this. I am feeling that nice, clean, smooth texture of my teeth. I don't know what you want to call it, like almost all day. And I don't know if you're familiar with oil pull. I actually tried oil pulling quite a while back. And it was not a hard thing to do, and it wasn't nasty, but it was really hard to find the time to sit for like 15 or 20 minutes and just sit and do this. And that was the hardest thing about oil pulling for me. And being this is coconut oil, which is what I was pulling with at the time, I kind of do a mini oil pull in the morning and like at night when I'm brush my teeth. I mean, just maybe 5 minutes or so, and I swish and swish and swish and swish. And sometimes, man, when I spit it out, it's really brown colored. So that's telling me that it is kind of sucking some toxins and stains or whatever is in my mouth, which I'm full of toxins, out. So this is a thumbs up and something you should do and continue to do. I will be continuing to do it. And of course, good old trusty. This is one. This is not necessarily the brand I buy every time. Luann's is a bigger jar and essentially the same thing for less the price. But not everywhere sells Luann's, but all the Walmarts sell this. And this is what I put on after a shower. This is what I use for face moisturizer. This is what I use for body moisturizer. This is what I use in my cosmetics, in my deodorant, in my toothpaste. Everything. that's what I use. So, mascara is next on my list. I do have some black charcoal now that I found, and I gotta get some beeswax though. I don't have any beeswax. And with the thing about mascara is you don't want it to be, you know, melting. You know, with these things, they can melt and blend, and it just makes your face feel like a baby's butt. But you don't want your mascara to do that. So, the recipe I have adds beeswax to it, and that helps firm it and adhere it to your eye, and then give it some stay power. So anyway, we're gonna do that. I want to get some beeswax anyway because this getting on spring, and I'm gonna start wanting to be making lip glosses and stabs and things of that nature. So I need to go ahead and get my supply of beeswax now. Anyway, the plants are doing great. Probably not going to get my garden done this weekend, as I've recently found out. But whatever, that's okay. My onion sets are fine. I am going to have to go out there today and find something to put these green beans in, or I'm going to lose them too. Because they're not going to stay where they are for a week. But I think my loofahs are fine for another week, definitely. Onion sets are fine for another week, definitely. So, anyway, whatever. Go with the flow. And then I've got, as soon as I get those out, I will get these planted. But these are short. I really don't want to get these out until more like Mother's Day, so it'll probably be another month before I plant those. And actually, I won't be planting those. Those are for my second crop of green beans after this crop. But the okra and summer squash, I'll get out. And of course, there'll be some plants that I get. Anyway, my food prepping hasn't stopped. I did my usual flour and sugar. I didn't bore you with it this week. Did my usual flour and sugar, and you know, most of it's going towards my garden right now. I've got to get things ready to go so I can quit buying things. My brother came yesterday, though, and brought me a ton of jars, and brought me 2 ginormous water bath pots, canning water bath pots. They're gigantic. I could put 10,000 jars in them. That's going to be awesome this summer. I need to still get me I'd like to get me a nice big pressure canner. They're costly though. I mean, the one I want's like $300, so but it would hold a butt-ton of jars. But I gotta have one anyway that is a regular old-fashioned canner, because the only canner I've got right now is electric, and if shit goes south, so will canning for me. So thanks to my sister-in-law and her mom and her grandmother, bless her heart, who's passed away, for thinking of me and sending those my way, because they will get lots of use. So anyway, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to waddle around here and try to get things done, and maybe we'll touch base later. Nana Prep out.